Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Choose here. We are here today to kind of discuss another Dalton board meeting. I found two things that popped out for me in this July of 2021 meeting. The reason being, in our last video, we discussed we discussed and we looked over the 2017 meeting where the state of the village was discussed and the possibility of the state coming in to take over the finances and such. If you haven't seen that, you can certainly check our last videos. So, what we did was we wanted to fast forward because at the end of that video, I asked who was the man and his wife. They seemed really familiar to me, but I couldn't place them. And shout out to Big Mike for making that connection for me as a former Thornridge student. That was Elder Crayton and his wife. So, as I went to this 2021 meeting, I saw that they were honoring Elder Crayton, and I thought this was such a beautiful thing. And as I began to watch, I also noticed some behaviors. And I stopped the video because I want it to be a genuine reaction. I don't want to make any like preconceived notions. So I stopped and I'm on here. And so without further ado, we do want to jump right on into it. So this is July. Make sure I have my dates correct. This is July 19th, 2021, where the village of Dalton is honoring Elder Edward Crayton, who has passed on, and also um, just want to look at the behaviors of the trustees. We're looking at who's here, and let's just go. Let's go into it. I think they're finishing up a vote on resurfacing the streets. And as you can see, there are 6 people on this screen. I do not see Jason House. I don't see Kiana Belcher. I don't see Edward Steve. However, they are present. That's why I went just a little bit back so that you guys can see that everyone is present at this meeting. And let's go.
All right, thank you, trustee. Any other trustees or anybody want to give a consent on moving forward with the resurfacing of the streets? Trustee Norwood, are you
Yes,
for?
move forward.
Okay,
Yes.
trustee Belcher,
Yes.
trustee Steves,
Okay with it, yes, let's move forward.
okay, trustee House.
Yes.
All right, so we have a 5-0 as relates to resurfacing the streets. So thank you. Next on the agenda, we have discussion and possible action regarding resolution 21-012 for honorary street naming for Elder Edward Crayton. So everyone that knows Mr. Crayton knows that he really truly cared about community. He was a pillar of this lovely village, Dolton. Him and Miss Crayton came.
Okay, what I want to point out before she continues, and I'm sorry to interrupt, I want to point out the behaviors. Look at everyone's faces, in particular Kiana Belcher. And as you watch this video and what is being said about Elder Crayton, look at these people's faces, particularly Trustee Kiana Belcher.
To every board meeting. When I say every board meeting, they was in the back. And then also there was a big inspiration as related to Thornridge High School. They did after school activities. So if you did not know the Craytons, I'm pretty sure you heard about them. So Elder Crayton passed a couple weeks ago. So we wanted to honor him by naming a street after him. And I have a resolution that we have created. And I will now read that into record. Attorney Rice.
This is the stuff your insurance company doesn't want you to know about. Have you noticed auto insurance payment?
Resolution 21-012. Whereas the mayor and the Village of Dolton trustees wish to honor Elder Edward Earl Crayton for extraordinary and dedicated service as a board member of the Thornton High School District 205 Board and a staunch community advocate and devoted resident of the Village of Dolton. And whereas Elder Edward Earl Crayton was born on February 20th, 1951 in Mound Bayou, Mississippi, to Earl Jr. and Ollie Mae Crayton. And whereas Elder Edward Earl Crayton has been a vital member of the Village of Dolton community for 41 years. And whereas Elder Edward Earl Crayton, the loving husband of Mrs. Felicia Crayton, for 45 years, and the caring father of their 6 children, Lachelle, Edward Sr., Lachey, Lawrence Sr., Jonathan, and Lashar. And whereas Elder Edward Earl Crayton was the first African-American hired at Rockwell Graphics International, where he dedicated 24 years of service and was later hired at DR Press Equipment, where he continued as an operational manager until his retirement. And whereas Elder Edward Earl Crayton accepted his ministerial calling at an early age and began work as a deacon at Haven of Rest under the late Pastor John L. Connor, and later joined Truth Triumphant Ministry, where he was ordained as a pastor under the leadership of Pastor Gary Brown Sr. And whereas Elder Edward Earl Crayton was an active and involved citizen focused on advocating for the children and residents of Dolton, and in 2009 created his not-for-profit organization, Children Have a Right to Educational Remedies Charters. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the village board of the Village of Dolton, Cook County, Illinois, pursuant to and in accordance with its constitutional and statutory powers, that on behalf of the entire citizenry of the Village of Dolton, the village board hereby expresses appreciation for Elder Edward Earl Crayton by designating the portion of Ingleside Street with the honorary street name sign, Elder Edward Earl Crayton Way, to recognize him as a community, and resolution will be in full force and effect from the date and after the date of its passage and approval in a matter in accordance with the law. The Public Works Department will be directed to establish the honorary portion of Ingleside Street between 15500 and 15600 with the honorary street sign name Elder Edward Earl Crayton Way, as affected by this resolution.
Interesting. Okay, so one of the first things that I wanted to point out is I just noticed how she seemed uninterested. She looked the same as the last board meeting we looked at. His face was wrinkling up a lot. He seemed like he was paying attention, but when you notice the eyebrows furrowing and the wrinkles in his face, he had put his hands up there. It's like, yeah. I don't know that. And again, these are my views and opinions, and what are opinions like? But so, one person's opinion. I am so glad and so happy to know that they honored Mr. Crayton. I am just, it's a loving thing. The other thing I wanted to point out is most of the time Tiffany was looking down. I don't know if she was taking notes, but it seems like she knows him. She knows of him. She was excited to do this, but I did notice that she was looking down. So let's continue.
All right. Any board members have any questions, statements, anything? All right, hearing none.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, go ahead, trustee Holmes.
Let Ms. Norway wait first.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to state, Mayor, that
I paused it because did y'all see that? Did you see the little finger? Did you see it? See, when people be studying behavioral analysis and stuff, they notice when people give them the finger.
That I agree.
What was that?
We love the Craytons. We know
What was that?
how important the Craytons are.
Will be directed to establish the honorary. Will be directed to establish the honorary portion of Ingleside Street between.
Doing so.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
Any board members have any questions, statements, anything? All right, here none.
Yes, Mayor.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Trustee Holmes.
Let Ms. Norway go ahead first.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to state, Mayor, that I agree.
Finger it out, give you
We
finger.
love the Craytons. We know how important the Craytons are to our village. And I actually attended high school with a couple of his children. So I think that it'll be a great honor, and I love to be a part of doing so.
All right, thank you. You and I both attended school with the kids.
Yes.
So, yeah, we are TR.
Yes.
Okay, so you four are moving forward.
And we're moving forward.
Okay, Trustee Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move forward with that, but a statement I would like to say, Ms. Crayton come a long way with many outside kids and inside kids of his own. He was a tall man and a mentor to everyone. And anyone rides down that street can look up and see and thank God that you had a father figure in Mr. Crayton. So I agree to move forward.
Yeah, and I agree with what you stated. Any other trustee? Okay, Trustee Boucher, you want to move forward?
How do all these celebrities make millions and millions of dollars every year?
I don't know why I have
Not what you think. They make a special kind of income known as.
Sorry.
Okay, Trustee.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
Trustee Boucher, you want to move forward? Okay, Trustee.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Trustee Steves.
Yes, let's move forward.
Trustee House.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's 5-0 to move forward. Clerk Key, you got all that? I'm just making sure.
I know you're taking it for me.
Yeah, I know. Write it down. I'm like,
I'm
I'm
just
refer to
checking
you.
it
Don't
off.
worry. I'm refer to you on the
I'm just
next
checking it off.
Interesting. First of all, why ain't everybody got their butts on this screen in honor of Elder Crayton? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's my opinion. Why everybody ain't on the screen? You just popped up on the screen. Steve. Sorry. You just popped up on the screen. Everybody look genuinely, it's like not him, his face. I don't know if that's just his face. I don't know him. I don't know. She forcing a smile, but these smiles look genuine. Boop, boop, boop. That could be a genuine smile. That's not a smile anyway. Why ain't y'all on the screen, first of all? I noticed how you was with your head, everything was moving like, I don't like that.
Okay. Next we have
So she's been looking down the whole time, and apparently she's been taking notes. I mean, that's what Clerk Key just said. Clerk Key was like, I'm just checking it off. I know you got it. So that was just a perspective, not even for and against anyone, but just to point out that while you're looking at what people are saying, you're looking at how they're saying it, you're looking at, their facial expressions, their mannerisms, whether it's intended or not. You should always, as a person who's trying to convey a message to the public, be aware of how your actions are coming across, how your mannerisms are coming across. And I'm talking to everybody that was on the screen and not on the screen. That's my opinion for all of them. Mostly in this video, though, I noticed that Kiana Belcher seemed to be fidgety, moving around. I mean, kind of disinterested at times. But again, that's just my opinion. Curious to know looking back and also thinking about the state, the impending state of Dolton, and Tiffany having this power and everybody looking like they're on one accord, but what was really happening behind the scenes. So, with that, we are going to get on out of here. Thank you for taking the time to listen and come to your own conclusions. And we always want to end on a positive note. So instead of doing the Mr. Rogers outro, we're just going to say thank you so much, Elder Edward Crayton, for your tremendous service to our community. And I can say that personally as a teenager there during that time. Thank you to his wife, Mrs. Crayton, who was out there doing the work. I appreciate you. And thank you guys for watching. Till next time.